All right.
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, doing all right. Good seeing you this morning.
Good morning, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you? Yeah. Thought I was going to be late.
Me too.
Actually,
I just got here.
just 3 minutes late. That's not too bad.
When I got here, we just them three right there.
Okay. Oops.
Well, Stephanie was here. She right there in the break room.
Stomach full.
Yeah.
The little person sat in the seat last time.
You know, my husband had to take him after the meeting, a stem cell transplant. He had bone marrow cancer. We got him, they got him radiation. So after this meeting, he's good. We gonna get the tropical, they give chemo and draw blood. We finna go get that out at 11 o'clock. Maybe 4 hours. Driving crazy.
Driving him crazy or you crazy?
Both. Yeah, he showed me fussing about that.
I know it.
He be breaking out.
Well, man, how's everything going, man?
Man, it's averaging out okay.
Is everything?
Are you all ready?
Yeah.
I have a volunteer for the invocation. All right. I will lead the invocation. Oh, is she Terrell ADC? She's our Carlton today. We want to hear from you.
Go to the table. Except by you. I don't have any money.
All right, I'd like to officially call to order the meeting of the Park and Downtown Improvement Corporation. If you'll stand as I lead us in an invocation. God, we pause in this moment to bring you our humble hearts, Lord, for a community that we care about, for the people that we love. May the decisions that we make today have a positive impact on future generations. May everything we do be for the good of others. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. This time I'd like to ask our board to review the minutes from our June 13th meeting. Once you've had a moment to do so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I pre-reviewed them, so I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Hillary. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, JC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. This meeting is all about the numbers. So we're prepared to consider a number of ideas that we've heard in previous meetings, a few new ideas that staff would like to suggest or discuss, and there's room for more new ideas from this board as well. Raylan had a good idea that we're gonna look at this as a 3-year plan. We're not trying to spend all of our money all at once, but we're also not necessarily trying to save all of our money. So she's provided, as promised, a spreadsheet that we can manipulate throughout the course of the meeting. I think there should be some strategy given to what are our big eggs, our maybe long-term strategic eggs. What are things that we think will make such a difference in our town that may warrant some borrowing? What are some things that we can say no to for right now? What are some things that we can consider in the coming year or in future years if we have excess budget? If you'll remember, when we had our first capital plan, what was that, 2021, 2020? We discussed, we discussed some really big fish, and some we have accomplished. I think the lighting project in our parks has been tremendous. I just think there's room to do some more high-impact projects, or the board may decide that they want to do more small projects and have a wider reach. So this is going to be a very strategic discussion. I appreciate Raylan's willingness to lead us through this because it can go a lot of different ways, but I know that she's come prepared and ready to discuss. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Raylan.
Okay, what I want to do first is go a little bit out of order, and I need to conduct a short executive session because there are a few projects that I want to bring y'all up to speed on, so that it's something that y'all can think about while we're running through the numbers for the next few years.
At this time, we will adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss economic development negotiations. At this time, we will reconvene into regular session. No action is required. Thank you for the updates. And back to budget.
Okay. What I propose is that we look at these as individual line items. Your biggest ones are your facade reimbursement, development partnerships, downtown, and then park. So starting with your facade, what I've gone in and calculated are based on your current obligations. This is the total that we know we have to pay out, and then you had your standard $75,000 for grant reimbursement, and then I had plugged in another $75,000 for the retail ready when we talk about doing the awning project, and then also the rear of the buildings along South Alley. So this request would add an additional $75,000 for the retail-ready entrances.
I like that number, because did we estimate 5 to 10 per?
Per
Okay.
building front. I will show you, Mark sent over, just to kind of show you what he's looking at. I'll just pull it over here. Or not. It's fine.
Oh, come on, we like pictures.
I know. Now I can do it. Okay. So what he's done is he's putting together a map and has shown, isn't that lovely? And he has shown some possibilities of where we definitely either need to paint exterior or where we could add awnings. He's clearly giving us some ideas for code enforcement along the way. But when you take a good look at each one of the individual buildings, this is, goes into me requesting those dumpster enclosures, fencing, just getting a bunch of stuff cleaned up. But he's gone in and we have individual pictures of all of the doorways. And so he will have, and luckily that one's been redone since that picture. But he will have recommendations for each of these facades and kind of a color palette of different types of awnings to choose from these doors. And so, I know, isn't that crazy? So the next time you see this, what we'll do is we're gonna pick 10 properties and bring them to you, and we'll have the rendering and the color palettes, and then that would be what I'll take to the property owners as a proposal.
Why are we looking at the back of buildings? We're putting awnings on the front, right?
Yes, front
Okay.
and back, yeah.
Oh, and back.
He already has the front drawings, but,
So the 75,000, you think is gonna cover front and back?
because you won't do, not every property gets both, so we'll target some areas.
And is the idea 75 a year for the next 3 years?
Yeah, if we wanted to continue this
Okay.
program, yeah.
And the awnings are a lot less than I thought they'd be. I put 2 at the office, and I think they were 1,500 each for the metal. And those were metal with the rods and everything else. I know there's cheaper
We need Matt's guy.
alternatives.
Yes.
Yes. But no, as far as the budget goes, they're not nearly as expensive as you think they'd be.
Yeah.
What are Mark's thoughts on awnings? Like, is he envisioning metal? Is he envisioning
Both.
all different?
All different.
Okay.
We had gone back and forth, but I think you've got a pretty good eclectic, some options now. That, some people are definitely going to kind of lean towards the older fabrics and things like that, which will be great, along with the metal.
Okay.
Where we're probably going to run into some additional expenses with the awnings is what's going to have to be done to the building to be able to hang them. So the awnings themselves won't be much, but it is going to kind of depend on the integrity of the wall. So, but we'll work through that on each property.
And are we thinking / hoping that when Mark presents his things, we'll also have some paint reimbursements coming out
Yes.
of our other $75,000
Yes.
bucket? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we'll continue. Hopefully, this would kickstart other people requesting funds.
And so once the awnings go up, it then becomes their, if it gets torn down, then
Yes.
it's theirs.
Yeah.
And are we thinking you said reimbursement, that we'd reimburse a portion or the full cost of the awnings?
Full cost.
Full cost of the awnings and paint? Okay. Everybody on board so far?
Yeah, and the awnings aren't just for aesthetics. They do keep the water from running into and under the buildings, which keeps them from rotting and all the above. So it does preserve them.
Okay, the next one,
So, sorry, real quick.
I'm sorry.
Go back to facade. I got hyper-focused on awnings. I want everybody to look at the top section of items that have been paid out year-to-date, a little bit outstanding on Simply Massage. And then, some more commitments for facade improvements. Can you kind of walk us through these? I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone remembers, but I don't.
so you've got Angie's Panda Burrito. So that's a, that's a lease reimbursement. Lula May
Oh, it's written on
received they received a reimbursement for the interior renovations, which we actually took out of a development agreement line item. But this is her lease reimbursement. 115 North Francis, that is the Remax building that recently sold last month. Y'all granted them the exterior paint. And
Been
313.
painted.
313 Westmore, that's Hector Torres, which he got reimbursed for his roof repairs, and then you have Terrell Social that's going in.
Any progress updates on those?
He has applied for his building permit,
Okay.
so he's moving forward.
All right, so within facade reimbursements, the only proposal addition for next year is okay, I'm realizing there's two. So yeah, it's the top $75,000. Is that just for paint and everything, or is that for,
That's for individual applications coming in,
okay, and then the bottom is the
the awning.
awning project? Okay.
So one thing that came to mind, would the board be interested in doing a 90 or 120-day window where people need to get their grants together, they need to, and obviously not for this fiscal year, but moving forward? I do propose that we perhaps open up your grant applications in January of every year, and they stay open until April. And then that way you're able to budget for the following year reimbursements. Because if these truly are reimbursements, you should not be stopping progress on buildings, but it's after work has been done anyway. Now that you've got a little bit of momentum, I'm just wondering if we had more of a concentrated time where we could advertise these grants and really push them out and hope to get people to apply, that it might help in future years you budget different projects instead of them just coming in throughout the year.
I know you would like that.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of hard. It's hard for y'all with the budget.
Sure.
You know, because there's some years that you've carried 75,000 and we've only paid out 20, and then there's been some years where we've, gone way over that budget because we just didn't have the applications until the end. So,
I feel like when we put the applications out there, they didn't start lining up,
you still had to go, hey, do you want some free money? Here's what you have to do. And then you would have the Pandaria that kind of just pops up out of nowhere and moved quickly.
Yeah.
So I hear you. I'm
I mean, and again, I kind of thinking the same thing, and it's not to say we can't have a big push at time to try to cover
Yeah.
complaining things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're always, hopefully, while we're moving forward, we're gonna have pop-ups that we weren't
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah.
Also, I would love to get to the point where we are saying, man, we're so sorry, we would love to give you money for this, but we've already spent all our money for the year. And so far, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So I think until we're at the point where we're having to turn people away because we've maxed out our budget in May.
Well, and hopefully doing the awning project will
create a
the
buzz.
word.
I
out
also like that we're in a position to strategically, like what Mark's doing, say, you know what, these are the top 10 versus we put it out there and we're going to get some bottom 10 that come forward and we're going to have to address, but they're maybe not the highest impact
Yeah.
properties. So,
Okay.
for now. Ready to move on to development partnerships?
Everybody feel good about facade?
Any other facade ideas, programs? Okay.
So looking at development partnerships, and we'll go back and discuss the one thing that I forgot to mention. It will not impact future budgets, so we can move past this. Your development partnerships, I have BMT Center listed, and then this was also the reimbursement for the renovation that was done to Lula So the budgeted $500,000 for next year was if Paddock wanted to do the RFP for the Chapman Building, where the city would ultimately give up ownership of the building. Kind of the guidelines for the RFP would be that the future property owner would have up to 5 years to do a build-out on the interior. But essentially, this would be to getting the building structurally sound and look really good from the outside. And then also, you had the request from the Terrell Heritage Society, which was the Carnegie Texas Historical Commission grant. I'm at 500,000, yeah, for 26. In exterior, yeah. And that wouldn't pay for all of it. I'm sure the developer would also, have some investments in it too. Benefits to this is we immediately have something on the tax rolls. So the appraised value goes up, and that actually starts helping some of our other appraisals downtown too. So we'll have a little bit of carryover from BMT Center and whatever you are open to on larger development agreements.
I just have such heartburn about allocating $500,000 to something that we have no idea what it's gonna look like, no idea what it's gonna be, no idea who our developer partnership is gonna be, like.
You will get to choose who that person is and whether or not you like their project. This will be a submission process. So we'll release an RFP. Y'all will have the opportunity to review everyone's proposals. And if you don't like any of them, then you start back over, or.
We don't start spending money until that
Right.
partner has been
Yeah,
identified.
until you've decided who that partner is, you agree with their processes, you like what they're going to do to the building, et cetera. Yeah.
So this could be a fiscal year 27 or 28 instead of setting it aside for now. So if we find something else we want to do $500,000 on, it doesn't have to be set aside for that this year.
Right, yeah, I mean, and there's also no way that you would pay that out all at one time either. So this could be something that's kind of, it carries over for the next couple of years, depending on how long it takes.
And how did we get that number? I mean, just based on, our city staff going down, looking at it, our engineers and seeing.
So I have had CORE go over to that building. We do know that basically it needs to have stabilization done on the east and the west side. So CORE, just to get the shell of the building structurally sound, that was their estimate. And then from there, you know, we would require the doors and the windows and things like that you could see from the outside. So it's gonna be more than that, but that would be the biggest portion of the stabilization of the walls.
You've been talking about this for probably close to 6 months now, and you mentioned there's already 2 or 3 potential, 4? Three potential partners. So I'm optimistic that this could be a 25, 26 project. I'm tired of looking at that building. I hate that the city owns it. And I'm ready to do something. And so if this is what we want to do, why wait? I mean, if you're having these meetings,
You have 2, and they are local residents who will probably put in for these buildings. And you'll also have some from out of town.
And if we budget all 500,000 in this year, I agree with Tori, like, if we have that much improvement in a year, great. But if not, we can just roll that over to the forthcoming budget years, right?
Yeah, we'll just continue to roll it until it's spent.
development partnerships. These are hard to plan for because these often come to us in the form of a request. Everything that we've done with the Piñas historically has been a development partnership. What are some other examples of development partnerships we've done?
It's really outside of those, it's anything outside of your standard grant reimbursement amount. So even Lula May was considered that because it was more of a partnership based on her, how much she was putting into the building. It's when people are coming in to do major renovations that require things outside of the grant.
Is this a time to talk about the Piñas building on the corner of Adelaide?
So, after speaking with Louis and Cynthia, following their June presentation to the paddock, there is a possibility that they would be open to selling their food hall building, which is the building at the corner of Adelaide and Moore. So it's the old Bell Bonds building. It's the one story.
It has 3 walls.
Yes, 3. Mm-hmm. So one thought would be, and I know that Paddock has historically said that they do not want to own buildings, they do not want to be building owners. However, I do think one of the struggles with that building is the size, the footprint of the building. I do think that building partnered with the City of Terrell lot, which is there at Adelaide and Moore, would be a much better developable piece of property. I will tell you that we have 4 or 5 people right now who are not looking to lease downtown buildings, they want to purchase. So this could be an opportunity if you wanted to, and the reason the price is $380 is there is a loan on the building. And this would remove this building from the Piñas portfolio and give us an opportunity to package it with the vacant lot. We could bundle it in with the RFP with the Chapman, or we could just simply try to sell it outright and roll it out.
Because one thought is, to your point of size, they were gonna have a hard time squeezing a restaurant. I don't know if we need another restaurant or not. But potentially, you could tear that building down and you have 2 lots to develop one building on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if thought has been given, I'm sure there's been some kind of study about what our downtown needs. I don't know what that is.
Do we have any cost estimate of what it would take to just
Raise
level
it.
that building and
I think it would take those.
a stiff wind.
You mean the dumpster?
Yeah, no.
But
I mean,
if we were hiring a crew to come in and clean that up and make
You
it,
could have that done for less than 100 and get it down to grade and it be ready for build.
I think the risk that we run right now is if we do nothing, then you're gonna keep looking at that for who knows how many years. Because the Peñas were very transparent about they're waiting for Terrell to catch up before they invest anything else in downtown. So in some regards, that's unfortunate because they have made that building as little of an eyesore as they can. I mean, they have painted it. That is the widest, cleanest wall in downtown Terrell. We half-heartedly use the city lot next to it. It's honestly kind of pitiful when we put some blow-ups out there at downtown events. We all saw the drawings of the lot with turf and string lights and outdoor music. But things for me kind of changed in the last meeting when Terrell Social is doing that same concept on the other end of downtown. I don't think we need two of those. And I like that they're doing
That one
it.
would be private, yes.
Ideally, to me, ideally, the Peñas, it's whatever private developer has an interest in doing something with that, ideally, they would come in and they would pay for that building, and then they would buy, or the city may decide to give that lot to them. But I think the way a developer's mind works is they need to have a surefire deal, and one way for them to have a surefire deal is they're packaged together as for sale. I assume for sale.
Yes. No, we would want,
We would want our money back.
yes, absolutely.
And I don't know, appraisal-wise, I mean, if that three-walled building and the vacant lot next to it are worth $380,000.
I wouldn't think so.
So that's kind of a problem too.
Right.
Matt, do you think that
'Cause we
two
would
empty
just
lots?
be really just purchasing the lot. The free wall the free wall is gonna be torn down anyway, right?
This is what I was gonna ask. Do you think two raised lots are worth more than one lot and one 2.5 wall building?
It depends on who the buyer and who the user is. If it's worth more as a clean slate lot to build on, or something they can use as a concept with the other
Okay.
brick. The brick arch or whatever. I don't think so. I think it's case by case, and if someone wants to take on a project of this, then we work with that, and I don't see any point in demoing a building or some walls if someone needs to use those for something. And I think the cost of rebuilding something there is gonna maybe way more than what it'd cost to just leave it like it is. I mean, I wouldn't tear anything down. Unless a, private developer wants to tear it down, that's up to them.
Can I say something? Is it allowed? There is a beautiful mural in this, building, and I know it's fallen down, and it makes me sad. I would hate to think I would tear the whole building down and not try to save that one, because I think, if people like history, if people like to see kind of things, if they could use that one side to do something with, maybe it's cost prohibitive because it's gonna cost so much, but I think we need to try to look at saving that one little bit there on there. Then there's a lot of tin that has fallen to the ground from that building, and I wish we could maybe see if some of the other downtown businesses not be missing some tin on their different, and maybe we could use that tin to go and fix some of those buildings.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, there's inside the wall, it's like something dry goods, and it's
Some bags of old tobacco, and it's
logo.
apparently we found it, and we've done research, I remember who it was, but there's only like 2 of them in Texas or something. I mean, I'm the history buff, so I think that's something that. we
Worth
really-
saving, yeah.
Worth saving, and that's just my opinion.
And I would think, I don't know, if you can take it down and use it in the new building somehow or what, but one thing that I think our downtown needs, and it's been difficult to get, downtowns need retail and gift shops. And when I needed a gift yesterday for a friend, I went in Gritty Bell, it's mostly clothes and some, little things. Like, I don't know, it feels impossible to go get those type of businesses, which is exactly what you see in any downtown that's a destination in Texas, is gift shops. And if the highest and best use of that is a gift shop, then it is the right size. It's just not the right size for a restaurant. I think if you're talking to someone who has an idea of how to best use that double lot, have them come talk to us. And maybe there is a way where we temporarily pay off the peñas knowing that, if we know what the end game is. But are all a little hesitant to just speculatively invest this kind of money with no line to return.
Sounds good.
But would we be open to it in the scenario that I said, if we knew kind of what the plan was? And could see how the numbers would work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we need to have some ideas on what's
Yeah,
going in there before we commit to anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's possible that we may have to take a haircut on this, meaning we have to pay $380,000 to own it, and we only can sell it for $300,000. We'll see.
Well, it at least gives me some properties to talk to people about, because right now, we don't have anyone who will sell anything.
Yeah.
And so it does at least give me an option.
And if the people you're talking to about the Chapman Building have a vision for this, let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we can handle it that way.
But I don't think we're going to budget for it
Nope,
just yet. Okay.
there we go. So the only thing outstanding for this fiscal year, we've just a payout to BMT.
So, board, thinking back to other development partnerships conversations we've had and tabled, Southland comes to mind. Do we want to leave that tabled? The Southland building where there was talk of a market?
For me, it's a yes. I have struggled so much with this category because we've spent so much time talking about ideas, but we have seen very little to nothing actually come to fruition on it, that at this point, I'm like, show it to me and then we can talk about money. I don't want to talk about money up front because I haven't seen it. And so that is my frustration, and that I understand that sometimes that is necessary, but because of our history on this board with not always getting what was promised, or, hey, we're gonna do this, okay, we'll partner with you, and then it doesn't happen because they didn't actually have the money to make it happen, or the plan, or whatever, this category is difficult for me.
Yeah, and I'd like to see something visual improvement to that building before moving forward. But get the ivy down, get something to where it doesn't look abandoned, like there's some effort being put into making it ready before we participate anymore.
But do we need to put a line item in there to hold the funds for what may walk in the door?
No, because anything that's not budgeted will just go into your cash balance, and you're carrying that forward anyway, so.
Are there any other development partnerships that we've tabled that I'm not thinking of? People that we owe answers to?
No, those are your only main ones.
What are you thinking, Mary?
Devana's building, is that the one?
Yeah, that's the
Rockwall
BMT. Yeah. So we're carrying that. She's still a few months out finishing up her design and engineering. She gave you the update. I think that, in the next 12 to 18 months, she'll probably start getting some of her construction costs together. So hopefully you'll keep hearing from her, but.
Also, I do too. Also want to talk about some buildings that are for sale downtown, because if they sell, you can be assured that someone's going to walk in that door and ask for some help. The Bren Opera House building, it's for sale. Dorman Williamson's building that was leased to Rustic Cactus is for sale. So I think, is there anything else that's for sale downtown?
Not publicly.
Okay,
Those are the only two I can think of.
okay. So, when those come, we'll have those discussions. All right,
Everything's for sale downtown, but not publicly.
interesting. The bank is not for sale.
Right, no.
Okay.
Really expensive. Okay, downtown capital improvement, talked a little bit about the wrought iron fencing, around the train railroad tracks, also adding, dumpster screening and, lighting and signage. So all of this is kind of handled under engineering, because I do want to make sure that we've got some good, OPCC, we're having to pull it out of our quiet zone design standards. So there's really more of an engineering cost right at the moment. And then this would just be the standard 75,000. The one big push that I would like this year, is gonna be a cost estimate for the railroad screening and then also the dumpster screening. But, I do believe that we'll be able to budget some of that even with my quiet zone funding. So I'm trying to skirt both of that.
What's the timeline on resurfacing South Valley?
That is going to be part of the Summer Streets program, and so it should be happening within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
And are they gonna go everywhere they can with asphalt and cover as much
As
weeds
much, yeah.
as you
And
can?
then we're going to make sure we've got the good asphalt going down. I have gone and had the difficult conversations of please stop parking right behind your building and go to the parking spots. We've sent out a few code enforcement letters. We've had some good conversations back there, so it's starting.
Okay,
But everyone was excited. I think it really, really helped with the salon that went in. Everyone noticed.
it's beautiful.
But yes, the difference
Front and
that
back.
made. And so it was good to have that example there.
So possibly before the next time we meet, there's gonna be asphalt back down there. We'll all go see it, visualize it. I feel like dumpster screening happens quickly, happens before year end.
Yes.
And do I remember that you had strategically like there's not gonna be as many dumpsters?
There'll be one dumpster per block. And then what I'm going to request of city council is that TERS, within our downtown budget, we be able to pay for the solid waste at each one of those dumpsters so that tenants will no longer have to pay that charge. TERS would pay that, so, because it is kind of inconvenient. They really like having their trash cans right outside their back door. So since they'll have to walk it over to a dumpster, we can actually provide them free trash service because TERS already has 2 dumpsters over there. So we'll kind of switch it around to where it'll save them a little money and make everybody happy.
Am I crazy to think that would be done by December?
I can make it happen by December, yeah.
Will there be any lighting for South Alley included in this?
So there will be, on there is your downtown core lighting and signage. And so with just your street lamps that we'll be looking at, we'll also be looking at security lighting
Okay.
and the placement of those.
Good, because I was thinking dark alley at
Yes,
night.
yeah, we,
Okay,
yeah, so we're gonna look at some security light options for both South and North Alley.
makes it less inviting for,
Yes,
okay.
it's a little scary.
So then on lighting, what else do you think that includes?
So you'll have your street lighting, security lighting, and
Street meaning sidewalk?
sidewalk, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the pedestrian lighting. And we know that that's gonna be probably a borrow, but, we'll have the engineering on that done. What I wanna do is have the consultants come in and we'll do kinda like a workshop with y'all here with some examples and really walk through what you want to see. They're testing right now, if we keep the same bases, how tall can we go, you know, do you want banner brackets, do you not? So they're gonna put together some options, and we'll get that kicked off in August.
Okay. And then we talk about, or did I just make this up? Downlighting or uplighting on the planner
On the
boxes?
planners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But you think that line item will probably be the largest one in capital improvements?
Yes, and your
be a borrowing.
lighting, and that's why I put that in 27. I think by the time you order, receive, and install, we may be able to start that, but we'll split it between fiscal year 26 and 27, or do a borrow.
Or do a borrow? Okay.
Yeah.
What about signage? What's the vision there?
That is just new street signs. We're gonna redo the street signs.
On the traffic lights?
Yeah. Right now, it's just replacement. They were gonna put together some samples, because they're also getting together some pricing to see if we can paint the
Yeah.
street lamp, or the signal lights as well.
I don't know that I would be willing to pay for the backlit ones, but I'd at least like to see the cost
Pricing?
difference between the flat ones and the backlit ones, especially if we are gonna paint black. I think that makes a huge visual difference, and hopefully for reasonable money.
Right, and a lot of other cities you drive through, and they do have the ones that have their either backlit or they don't just look like the reflected metal.
Is Jamie Foxx backlit? No,
No,
it's white.
I
Okay.
haven't seen any in town.
yeah. So, we'll have pricing for both.
You had talked one time about hiring a consultant to not rebrand Terrell, but like create some consistency amongst brand. Did that ever happen?
The city is under contract with a marketing and media company.
Okay.
And that's part of what they'll be working on. We're gathering a lot of our programming information for them. They're doing a deep dive into our website, all of our social media posts, and trying to bucket it for us so that we can clear up our messaging a little bit too, and make sure that when it has something to do with downtown, that there be that distinctive, you know, is it downtown merchants, is it chamber, is it, you know, city? It's really hard to tell right now. So, but yeah,
To
this,
kind of, I don't want to use the word theme because I'm not envisioning
yeah,
British, but are we kind of after a theme?
yeah,
Who
a
are we?
branding of the downtown core.
And that would probably be reflected in these street signs as well? Okay.
I don't think it's an extravagant cost, but I was talking to a business owner yesterday. It's maybe something we just get out of our cash budget, about the Wall of Honor and names, and learning a little more about that, and kind of
Okay.
doing something with that. And I just said I would mention it.
For a mural or for a sign?
Like the sign, they said they don't really know who's on it. They don't know, maybe lighting, just maybe even putting the name of the mural. It's just a lot of little things they said. I said, I'll mention it too.
The building on Grove,
It's on Grove and,
That's a good point.
at least identified, yeah.
like, who's on, that's cool, but who's on there? There's no lighting, there's no name of the, you know, but I was like, well, it's a little placard out front that says it's the Wall of Honor, and kind of tell you a little bit, but they were like,
That makes me think about simple solar lighting for all of our murals. Is that low-hanging fruit?
A plaque that,
Says what they are.
that says who did it and the inspiration behind it and what's
Okay, plaques are permanent and you can't change them.
true.
Or at least smack a QR code on it, but something to that effect, where then you, with the marketing and the media, you go to that thing, you've got how many people on that wall? You could QR code them or whatever, and go to each of those individuals and find out their life and their history and their whatever. Or like the little butterfly, the one that is so awesome, that's in it.
Camilla,
We're
yeah.
starting to see everywhere
Mhm.
what that represents, or the history behind it, or something like that, stories about
Yeah.
the person that actually did it.
Yep, the artist name
To
and
me,
their,
that's a lot better than sticking a plaque up there that is just gonna rust or tarnish.
We can definitely look at the
I think that would
solar.
also help with your mural wall.
Yeah. I'll get the solar lighting.
And that was from the old place.
Look at you.
QR code. Anything else on downtown capital improvements, so city-owned, it's not a development partnership, this is like common areas downtown. Where do we need to invest?
Most of this is gonna come from whatever the complete street proposal comes to. So of course, we don't wanna go spend a bunch and then undo it based on that. So I know there's several steps before we get to that.
But, yeah, because we talked about, the road hump. Doesn't that go here?
Mm-hmm.
The tabletop? Is that,
Well, it's on the engineering side.
Ah.
So
there's a different tab?
yeah, so a lot of these are more like us having to have the engineering contracts in place so that they can come back and feedback this information. Because especially, working with TxDOT and working with Union Pacific Railroad, and we gotta make sure that both of those projects would hopefully eventually be under a grant so that we're following that process from day one.
I would just say in general, like, I am ready to spend some money downtown, and more than that, I'm ready to see some difference downtown. Our landscape project did do that, like, I see that, but I don't know. I look at our parks from when this board started to now, and I see a marked improvement across the board.
On most of them, but we still.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, right, but I'm just saying, like, the neighborhood parks that I've been to, most of them are Terrell, that post that City of Terrell did yesterday about the swimming pool, like, the swimming pool looks amazing. Like, I see it in our parks, and our downtown still feels like we haven't gotten there, and so I'm ready to push downtown.
Yeah, we've had more impact on parks at this point. But yeah, I think to focus on, like I said, the actual public right-of-way area now that the public sees, whether it be, the signage and landscaping, just maintaining this look that it is ready for private development to come in. Be my thought.
I think
do that.
these will be some, I think,
I mean, the signage we were talking about would go a long way, because that's what the public sees, because they have to stop at the signs, and have them to where those are more visually appealing and everything that they see within the TxDOT right-of-way.
I think once we get through probably 90 days, if you're engineering, you're gonna be able to start making those decisions, and we can start plugging away at spending that, for sure.
How do we feel about benches downtown? On Moore
Mixed.
Avenue? Mixed.
Mixed emotion.
Oh, mixed,
Mixed
yeah.
on that.
I think, so Lula May has benches in front of her restaurant, and there, to my knowledge, haven't been the problems that I think most of us are worried about. With that being said, I know we paid a lot of money for these big, beautiful planters full of flowers, and a lot of business owners didn't want them in front of their businesses. And so I think that we would be running into the same issue with benches. I think if we were gonna do that, we would definitely need to talk to the business owners before we spent money on them to make sure that they would want a bench in front of their business.
Yeah, because it could attract unwanted guests, tourists and.
Or that could be something like we're doing with the things that in the front of the building, in the back of the building. It doesn't mean that somewhere down the road, we've got a thing going, and then we say, hey, we'll pay for, if you would like benches in front or something, you can apply for those and we would pay for those.
Okay.
But to me, you would want to do that once we get a theme, a look.
Raylan, what's on the minds and wish lists of our downtown business owners right now?
They want events now,
Events.
people. Like, honestly, they
They do well on the event days?
do very well. And they're, for the most part, they're happy with downtown. They're just wanting it busier.
They're happy with downtown. There's a couple of issues with the vendors, because you don't have to invest in Terrell if you're a vendor. So maybe we limit the vendors that vendor on a booth, maybe not against somebody who is in a storefront.
Yeah,
Does that make any sense?
it does.
But I do know that there's a wine walk this weekend that, it was a secret to me too. Oh, wait. Terrell, tomorrow night from 6 to 10. It was a secret to me too. And I don't know why we're not getting this out. But I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying, there's a lot of, I think we need to push them harder.
So the city,
I don't know.
yeah, the city
We're
and.
talking about a joint calendar, which will help.
Well, in the city and the chamber, we're going to have a joint meeting about how you complete a special event application. We're going to lay out our calendars for the next 2 years and really get everyone to understand, these are the events that the city and the chamber puts on. There's nothing stopping you from having more events downtown, but these are the things that you need to consider, vendor placement, et cetera. Really, we wanted them to kind of take some ownership in, y'all need to have original ideas of how to bring people into your business and how to bring people downtown. The city can't have events every Saturday. Like that's not how we're going to keep this moving. So we're going to be very strategic about the events, the downtown events that we have, and then really encourage them to get more organized in what they're planning.
I want to squirrel real quick. As you have the opportunity to give feedback or share ideas, not feedback, share ideas with these downtown business owners, every one of those clothing shops could sell candles and greeting cards and little gift items, tea towels, so that I don't have to go to Marshall's when I need a little gift for somebody. And I think it diversifies their offerings and brings new people into their business. Okay,
But also this meeting is also from parks too.
Mm-hmm.
we'll get there.
For downtown,
Oh, the joint meeting.
joint meeting. And I think that will help us if we get on one calendar.
Mhm.
Then, it will help the communication on things like this thing this
Sure.
weekend that nobody knew about. Me or Raylan didn't know about.
What about
Who's putting it on?
the wine walk? Who's putting on the wine walk?
Is it the Heritage Market? Is it Jessica? Okay, yeah, it's the Heritage Market.
What about music downtown? Are they asking for that?
We have speakers. Remember, that was the whole thing, we bought those speakers.
I did not know that.
I didn't know.
But they're temporary.
They're temporary.
They have to
Oh.
be put up and taken down.
Okay.
Temporary, but we pay, this was like during COVID maybe, we bought speakers, half and half, us and the city joined in. I'm going on memory here. But they aren't the permanent speakers.
Okay.
They are
Set up, tear
the,
down.
Forney has this.
Oh, I thought Forney's were permanent.
Forney's are permanent, aren't they?
But I wondered if these speakers could have, apparently there's clothes that the speakers can wear that make them outdoors more. What, Stephanie, you know what I'm talking about?
More durable, what do you mean?
Durable,
What-
like there's like they can be outdoor now in the rain if they have a rain jacket on. And I know that sounds crazy, so I didn't know
really
if
hadn't-
the speakers could be modified with having like weather protection, because they have rain jackets now that we can put on them to use them during certain.
I know how painful it was to do the downtown lighting project because of the electrical. Is that part of the hesitation in doing music?
No, now we can,
Oh, it's set up for that.
if we want. No, we made sure that there's plenty of electrical.
One of the problems we had when we first bought them, didn't make them electrical, is because we needed a building that let us have the Wi-Fi communication hub,
Okay,
and that was difficult.
And now every building has it.
okay. I mean, downtown Kaufman has music too. Now, all the communities we're talking about have a square.
I think where we have a problem here that Forney does not have, because Forney has some really nice music that you go down there and it puts you in a better mood. We've got a Highway 80 running down the middle of ours, and I could see where during events or something like that, or if we have a parklet, that you would be able to hear the music, but if you're playing music right now and it's Friday on the way out of town towards Canton to go to First Monday, are you gonna hear it?
I don't know. I'm gonna disagree with you, Mary, because I think even just the subconscious, because for events, they play music, but they play it at a
Loud.
decibel level that is too loud. there is something, even if there are not words, even if it is elevator music, there is something about like ambient background sound that elevates. And so I don't know if that's something that would be put on the pedestrian lighting. I don't know what that would look like, but I'd be interested in talking about that. Because I will say, when you park and you get out of your car in downtown Kaufman, you're immediately in a better mood. Immediately.
And I think it can set the tone for the downtown. When we were in Kaufman eating lunch one day, the music was like from 106.1. And you're like, oh, this doesn't really fit my surroundings. But if you played something charming or from a certain decade or, you know, I don't know, it can be one more sense. I mean, if you're smelling Lula May and you're hearing music from the 40s and you're, you know, visually seeing these awnings and charming shops, I think it starts to add up.
And absolutely, trucks are gonna come roaring by and overtake
You won't
the
be able to hear
music,
it the whole
but-
time.
But I think that you will still get the effect of background music.
And for the most part, during our events, traffic slows because it's so congested. And I agree with Hillary, the speakers, because you have to make it go from one end of Moore all the way to the other, when you go by, it's too loud. So this could be a way to help with that. And it
What I
may
can
make
do
sense
is
with
have-
the lighting,
Yeah, have the consultants add the speakers with the lighting.
if it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the music will be drowned out by trains and sirens and 30,000 vehicles a day, but at the same time, there is some downtime from that. So it would be nice to hear something pleasant in the background.
Okay.
How are our lights doing? I will tell you, wait, 4th of July, I drove through and there was one building that was red. So is one building stopping, so you can't do all the others if that one building?
So my concern was if we have just the one lot that's out, but everything else going, does it make it?
No, I think it would be lovely. And then, I mean, don't hold up the whole thing because there's an issue with that one building.
We can go out and change it today.
Awesome.
I don't mind.
They go out and play with it quite often to make sure that we're good, because we're gonna take a beating, one way or the other.
All right. Anything else on downtown capital improvements? Okay.
All right. The list. So here is your park. This fiscal year, you're at 421, 288. I don't have any outstanding expenses, so we've got disc golf. You did all new park signage, and then we also did the courts at Bengill Park. During your last meeting, Demeter brought forward to you the budget planning. So these are the requests, and I kind of broke them down by park, and giving y'all a chance to look and see.
I was actually able to go to the Stallings meeting that they had, and it wasn't a huge meeting, but they had quite a few people there that were, when Glenn got up and spoke about the parks and kind of did the same presentation for them, they very much want lighting. They very much want walking trails. They were kind of told, Ricky was there as well, so they were kind of told that not by Ricky, by Glenn, he was saying that the modular tile court, that there's still a big drainage issue there. And that if that drainage issue is not corrected, doing the modular tile court, doing the other stuff is not gonna work. So Ricky did mention in that meeting that the city of Terrell needs to look at the drainage, and if that's gotta be fixed first by the city, and he would make a commitment towards that if we would make a commitment to funding the rest of it. And our Stallings is our least improved park at this point. And we have a whole lot of there's a whole lot of housing going in there, there's a whole lot of families that are in there. And I think that park would get a whole lot of use if we made it
We enhanced it.
park.
I agree that it's time to spend some attention on Stallings. I personally don't think the modular tile court is even in the first 15 things we need to do to Stallings. I think that that is when we get everything else fixed and it is a more functional park, we talk about that, maybe in the 3-year budget time. But I think in the meantime, we do the low-hanging fruit, the new tables, trash, benches. I think we did grills at Breezy Hill. Maybe we look at that for Stallings if that's something that they would want. Lighting, I think all of those things would make a big impact. And we know from our experience, like, those are relatively inexpensive things when we're talking about in comparison to restrooms or tile courts or things like that. And
But I think
so-
they're gonna have the same issue that Arlie White is. You've got this massive growth going in over there. If you don't have a restroom and you walk over there, I think you need and I apologize, they also said they want a small area for toddler playground. Because they've got young families moving in there. And the one playground that is there is built more for the older kids. So all the ones that have the smaller children, they don't have anything there. They were excited about the modular thing, but again, they've got to get in there and correct that drainage issue before we looked at some of the bigger things. But they were very excited that we were even thinking about doing something over there.
Has there been a location identified for a restroom?
That, I'm not sure, but we can definitely do that. And then remember, our last meeting, we don't say the word modular restroom anymore because Core and WRA are going to design a typical restroom that we can construct. And so we'll,
Yeah, if you're gonna have a toddler playground, you're gonna need a restroom, so. I love that, as a place to start and have a high impact.
And with shading over the playground.
I'd like to look at that too for Arlie White, the restroom.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to looking at restrooms. Arlie is more ready for one this budget year than Stallings is, in my opinion. I think we need to, this budget year, work on the infrastructure and the build-out of the actual park. And then, to me, the restroom, the court, those are like bells and whistles that we could add on in the 3-year plan.
Unless Core is gonna come in and do a new restroom in several parks at the same time, yeah.
Fair, yeah.
What are you seeing as priority, or where should we start with Stallings? What are the infrastructure things you're talking about? Just drainage?
Well, the city's got to take care of the drainage.
Right.
Again, Ricky said that was the city side, because he asked what's stopping all this, and because Glenn kept bringing up
It floods.
drainage. So if they can get the drainage fixed, and we got a plan on that, I mean, again, they want, the 3 things they mentioned right off the front were the toddler playground, the walking trails, and the lighting, because it's very dark in that
Okay.
area.
Perfect.
I believe that's in a FEMA flood zone partially, isn't it?
I would not be surprised.
I believe it actually is in a dedicated FEMA flood zone, so that,
kind of like Kings Creek. It's
right, and that's all flood right there. So I mean, all that has to be considered what you build in a flood zone, because it's gonna flood, unless you can reclaim it, which is not an easy task. So I think a lot of that has to be considered with where the water's gonna be.
I know I'm asking a lot here, but do you happen to recall the little ant playground at Ben Gill? That's what I think of when I think of toddler playground, all low to the ground things. Do you happen to recall what the cost on that was?
No, but we can get that.
And obviously, if you're in a toddler playground, you gotta have some, low surrounding, kind of to keep the toddlers in, and some benches so the parents can sit and enjoy life at that moment.
That's the key. So it looks like for Stallings, and if we get ready for the court before 28th, that's good. But we'll definitely make note for the mayor and city council about drainage repairs there at that park. And so then maybe we look at the court. We'll look at it again for 27 for sure, but we've got the lighting, tables, we'll do restrooms, assuming next year, because we'll have to look at drainage for that too, before we decide where a restroom needs to go, because we'll have to make sure it's up. So number one is city drainage at the park. And then we know after that, we definitely want a restroom, and then we'll look at the courts.
Do we need to leave restrooms at 200,000?
I think that we had budgeted 100,000 at Arlie White because it was just gonna be one, and then, so we doubled it at Stallings to do at least two. I'm safe with 100. I don't think a restroom should cost you more than,
You think one
Well,
will
if we're
be
doing
enough
it-
at Arlie? With all the building going on around there, would you guys feel pretty confident that that one is
I
okay?
do. I mean, there's not really events held there, and so, yeah, you're out there playing basketball or playing on the playground.
Okay.
You may have to wait your turn, but less maintenance as well.
And there's a lot of new residential building going on around.
Yeah.
yeah, there is.
And I mean, there's new phases that are gonna be, you know, that are already starting. So, I mean, that's gonna get a lot more activity over the next 5 years or so. And most of those people aren't gonna wanna go walk back home to use the restroom.
For those parks that might be in the flood zone, do you have any budget associated to just FEMA paperwork, application fees, that kind of stuff?
No, all of that'll have to come on the city side. Yeah, but we'll, drainage and FEMA study. There.
Marilyn, I think let's add the Stallings walking trails to this next fiscal year too. I mean, concrete is not cheap, but it's doable, I think.
Appropriate for a flood zone?
I think that's gonna be after the drainage, then we'll talk about putting in walking trails. But as soon as
Okay,
the area's secure.
can do that. And do you want pricing for the playground equipment? You want that to show up in this year?
Yeah, because,
Okay.
I mean, this would be a question probably for Glenn, but if there is a part of Stallings currently that is not flooding and
Yeah.
there's open land, we could go ahead and move on that while the city does the drainage on the other side, but I don't know what the flood zones are there, so I don't know if that's available.
Okay.
I can pull up some flood maps and send those to you. So can the city, but you don't,
I think the pavilion was flooding, I think my understanding.
the backside of
The
it
pavilion was flooding, the court is flooding, and it goes back, or back that
and I'm
way.
wondering if we do the tile for the court, can that withstand being underwater?
I don't think the court.
Yeah.
I-
Right.
I agree with the court, because depending on how they fix the drainage, the court may have to move somewhere different.
Right, and if it's gonna be in a 100-year flood zone, I don't see the point
Yeah.
in putting a investment into something that's gonna be damaged by flood water. I mean, we can address city municipal drainage, but if it's in a 100-year FEMA flood zone, that's just
Yeah.
not a good place for permanent.
Hey, Bree, looking at everything that we would end up wanting to do at Stallings, this kind of mirrors what we're doing now for Kings Creek. So let's take this a step farther. We could apply for Texas Parks and Wildlife funding, which is the 50/50 grant. And because with Kings Creek, it was the restroom, the walking trails, I mean, like, we're starting to add up, plus the court replacement. So why don't we say, yes, let's move forward with solar lighting, make sure that we've got some benches and stuff there, but let's look at the next deadline for Texas Parks and Wildlife, because what that will do is help pay for full design of that park. And then, that way, whatever money you're going to put into it, it'll be matched on the state side. Do that?
Yeah, can I ask her some clarification? So when it comes to that grant, we got
it'd be a good eligible project, especially now that we're adding trails and courts, and it's getting big enough to be grant funded. And that's something that we can move quickly on.
Breezy Hill splash pad. Are we ready to move on from Stallings? Sorry. So let's look at Breezy Hill. We had talked at length about that a couple meetings ago.
I have a feeling that let me just flip over here to engineering. So your Breezy Hill engineering is 165, and what that gets you is the full parking lot and street connections, and the layout and design for a small splash pad.
When you say it gets us street connections, it gets us the engineering for those, or it gets us the pavement?
This is just for the engineering.
Yeah, that's how I was afraid of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is to get us to where we can bid it out. So what essentially we'll be adding is head-in parking there at, I think we were taking out Polk Street, so it's on either side of Polk, and then we'll be doing grading where that street is now to level out that park and allow for more space. And then we were proposing a small splash pad.
What does small splash pad mean? Does that mean one little palm tree that squirts out the top, or like, what does small mean?
The one in
Is
Forney.
it- Do you consider that a small
That's a
splash pad?
small splash pad.
Because I can just tell you, they haven't had water there for the last couple of days, and it has been all over the city.
It's gonna be a very sad thing whenever it goes down, yes. But,
But I mean, that shows how much it's used.
oh, it
so,
is.
yeah.
It's gonna be very, very popular.
Do you think there are gonna be splash pads in any future parks managed by HOAs or developers? No talk of that kind of,
They don't with
Outlay.
splash pads, no. Mhm. Yeah. As fun as much as people want splash pads, it is amazing how no one wants to put them in.
cost up front and the ongoing maintenance.
Maintenance
And
and
the liability
liability,
of
yeah,
chlorine and all that, okay.
yeah.
How's the
So,
cost of that compared to building a pool?
right,
You know, I mean, we haven't talked about that, but I mean, if it's 150,000 for a splash pad, would be the cost of a permanent pool?
Pools have to be manned.
It's more the personnel, yeah,
Splash pads don't.
Okay.
yeah.
so the engineering's 150 grand.
Mm-hmm.
A splash pad?
That, well, no, that gets you the parking lots, the grading at the park, and the splash pad.
So go back to Parkville cap improvements. Why do you have 150 next to Breezy Hill splash pad? That's the cost of the splash pad?
That's the cost of the splash pad itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want us to have that. I know so many people have asked for that, but that is so much money for such a small thing.
That's used for part of the year.
Right. And I don't know, I feel like the city, if we want to pay for the actual asphalt, the actual pad, but the city pays for the engineering, so we're only talking about 150 instead of 300,000 realistically, because we're paying for both ends of it. If that's something that the city could come up with in their budget to match us on.
Okay.
But if not, I feel like we're gonna have to make some hard choices, because that's just, that's a lot of money for not a lot of visual improvement, in my opinion.
I can get that added to my budget request for the engineering of Breezy Hill Park.
If the city would be willing to get it to that point, and then we pay for the actual capital improvements, I think
Okay.
that's better.
No, that's fair.
Well, and kind
Okay,
of,
let me ask some, on Polk Street. As of right now, it's still the city property, right, the street? So it's not the park. So could we get the city to kind of upgrade that's gonna be part of the parking area? To upgrade
No,
the street?
what we're gonna do is take that street out,
It'll be grass.
yeah. And we're gonna add parking on the side. We're gonna extend the parking on either side, but take Polk Street out and regrade it so that you connect those two sides.
Continuation of the park.
Yeah, it'll be a part of the park. But the city could help us in upgrading the parking because it belongs to the city as of now.
Yes,
Full park does, yeah.
yeah.
But that wouldn't be our paddock expense to remove the street, would it?
It just depends on what type of investment Paddock wants to make in Breezy Hill. So we'll get all those costs and then the breakdown and phasing. But the splash pad and the splash pad location has nothing to do with parking or street removal because it's all within the area where it's already been designated. We could go.
Does the Breezy Hill playground have a toddler area?
Mm-mm.
You know,
Yeah.
they climb on for the older children.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
have,
don't think it has a small one for toddlers.
the last time I was out there, I don't remember, which has been about a month ago, I don't remember seeing that.
And where I'm going with that question is when we think about splash pad, is it an either or? Because that's who uses a splash pad, is little kids. I mean, certainly if you're hot and you're, you know,
So you're talking
and
about.
if you're wearing a
instead of-
swimsuit,
Possibly
you're
instead
gonna
of
run
a
through it.
splash pad, well, because the one in Forney has the splash pad, but then they have a small toddler area there, don't they? It's kind of like,
A little separate, yeah, good point. I am remiss that I didn't, and none of us did, bring our parks plan. I feel like we're trying to reinvent the wheel right now. I think the splash pad for Breezy Hill is a part of that master parks plan.
It is.
So, and I doubt the toddler playground is. So, I mean, if that's been a recommendation, obviously that came from community input as well, then we may need to be moving towards that. Raylan, I don't think you have to add the toddler playground.
Okay.
That was more of a instead of, but I think splash pad is,
It is the toddler playground.
it is the toddler playground. You know, the unfortunate thing about it is that you'll use it from May to September.
Yeah.
And you'll maintain it from January to December.
Prone to freezing and everything else, so.
but the one in Forney, I had to pull up a picture. 'cause I
Mhm.
didn't have a picture. The one in Forney also has seating around it.
Yeah.
It has shade
Shade.
around it,
Mm-hmm.
tables around it. I mean, so even though the splash pad, and I kind of like the term small,
Mhm.
you don't want this massive amount of.
I don't want to
area.
oversell it, yeah.
But just because the splash pad part is closed down, possibly what we put around it to.
They still use it.
To take care, that there'll still be usable space year-round.
So would it be smart to put a little small toddler play area close to it? I don't know how expensive that would be, but it may be, need to be something more inclusive.
It might be a cool design that your splash pad is exactly that, but then there's structures within it that can be used year-round.
That's what I was
For
thinking. It doesn't have
toddlers.
to be a playground. It could
Sure.
just be those little climbable
Uh-huh.
block
Or
units.
in the little rocking.
Yeah.
I don't think they do the Rocky.
So a playground with a
Oh,
splash.
they dangerous.
Yeah, playground with a splash pad, yeah.
There you go.
There, that's,
Playground that rains.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. Yeah. They have, I'm sure somebody's probably thought of that.
Anything else on Breezy Hill?
Back to Stallings real quick. The demolition and relocation of the pavilion, I'm gonna, just so that it stays in there, that would also be a part of the grant application. So we'll just show all of that for next year.
You know, some of these things, Rylan, we should go ahead and put in 28. But we'll see where the numbers shake out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben Gill, let's talk about irrigation. Are these the 443 and the 270, that was the lowest bids from the last proposal that is,
To do all of it, though.
good point.
We also talked about potentially
Phasing.
doing it in phases.
This was the total for all, yeah.
What's the board's thoughts on that project, those projects?
What's used the most when we look at, the fields as far as?
Soccer.
irrigation? Soccer.
Soccer.
That'd be
And
the
honestly,
Initiate.
half of the soccer fields are used the most. There's games on them every Saturday. The other half is used for practices, and it's never fully utilized.
I think irrigation is a very worthy cause. I personally am in favor of phased approach. I think, and I didn't bring my packet from last time talking about what the phases were, but I believe that soccer, the first phase was half of it, and we talked about having a play half and a practice half. To me, that makes sense and is good financial planning for now to not irrigate all of that, especially if it's not all used. And then do you recall, Raylan, what for our packet from last time, what just the half of the soccer field cost was? And then maybe we could put phase 2 of the soccer 3 years from now, and let's see how the first round goes and see if we decide we want to spend that money again.
Because I almost, I found that part there anyhow. And I almost think of that soccer field as 3 separate areas.
Okay.
There's a side closest to the Excel where they're playing most of the smaller age kids' games. And then there's that middle section where the older kids are, not old, I mean like, not teenagers and stuff. And then there's that infield, the big field with the lights, I mean, that, every time I drive out there, there's teams on there.
Practicing or playing?
Both. Like Wednesday when Wednesday when I drove home, I was like, what's going on out there? Because the whole parking at that end was full. They had something going out, people had things up, but it didn't look like they were practicing as much as maybe they were having a
Pickup kind of
fellowship or
thing.
picnic or
Yeah.
something. But it was all these different soccer teams, and some of them were playing at one end and whatever, so the far end and this end are the most used parts of those fields. The middle is kind of hit and miss, which is, I think, where we're talking about doing practice, is in the middle.
I think they were saying phase 1 would be Excel
Okay.
to just past the restrooms.
Okay.
And then one end would be unirrigated
For now.
for now.
And we got to work towards it.
The far end cannot be the practice fields. That's where the big people are. So where are we talking the practice?
So our team practices on the far end on Tuesday nights, and there's not big people over there. I guess because the fields have been reserved, I don't know.
I think you have to, that you're supposed to reserve.
Yeah. So yeah, to me, the game fields are closest to Excel. I can't picture how many fields there are, because I think AJ had talked about, like, there's going to need to be some rotation, or these fields are going to get beat down. But that's, I think, going to be part of the strategy is, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, to my knowledge, the city only manages leagues, and really the Excel does, in partnership with the city, for kids. I don't think there's an official adult league, although there's lots of adults that play out there. So I think there's gonna have to be a strategy towards, these are our game fields, practices are over here, so that we can rebuild that turf.
Signage or something to, hey guys, if you're gonna.
Yeah, maybe an online reservation system. Do soccer fields have to be reserved?
I don't think so. Let me take one and pass it down.
First come, first served?
Yeah. I think the association has it first and they schedule everything.
So are we looking at,
Total bid, perfect finish is your low bidder, total. So. It's just more expensive on the phase one.
the middle part that Barry's
Middle.
talking about?
Mhm. Yeah, one and two would be that middle section.
What do y'all think about phase one, for the FY '26 budget? Soccer.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that, because I'd kind of like to see what it does.
Holds up, how they use it, how they take care of it, maintenance.
Okay.
What the maintenance looks like on it and how it's holding up. Because if phase one becomes a nightmare to maintain, then, yeah, right. So that's a test phase. I feel like those are all or nothing.
Yeah, financially it makes sense to do them all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, if you just had one, it wouldn't look right.
Okay.
Are they just being manually watered now? Or are they not, or is it just nature that waters them?
Nature.
Okay, so there's not any kind of water hose irrigation system that, okay. Okay.
Just be
Yeah, that-
really careful.
Yeah, that soil, I've seen some of them where they're, yeah.
So we'll float the remaining balance. We'll show it in '28, but if it's a huge success, you can always talk about it next year, too. Okay.
If we do that, they could be resodded and things like that to actually have some healthy grass out there in the future. But
That out because this includes soccer. And then the only other thing for Ben Gill was whether or not you wanted to do the scoreboards.
the baseball field's used by Terrell ISD, right?
That's their field.
Right.
Yeah, the baseball field.
Okay, we're talking about
back in the
the
back,
four that are
the
back
Little
by
League.
by the lake.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. I thought you meant the one that the high school uses.
No.
So that'd be 4 scoreboards on each one.
I feel like that is a city maintenance issue, and if they have not properly budgeted for that, that shouldn't fall on us. That's my opinion.
And I encourage them to seek private sponsorships.
I think that's how they've done it before.
Yeah.
And that's how the high school does it.
If you buy something and you know it has a 10-year lifespan or a 20-year lifespan, you know when that time is up. And so I feel like that's not our responsibility.
Okay. Look at us, we're down to 860. We're getting there. Started at 1.9, we're doing good. Little by little. Anything else one thing I did want to mention, I met Carrie Harwell and other members of your Terrell Lions Club. Nucor Building is donating a pavilion that they want to place next to the basketball courts. And so it's one that I think they've done in.
Like across the street?
No, right there by the court, so that you could be in the shade watching the kids. So not a huge pavilion, just like just a roof, 4 sides, with some benches on the inside. So Lions Club will be making a donation for that. If you're staring at your basketball, your multipurpose court, it's between the parking and the court to provide some shade there.
That wouldn't affect any of those old oak trees then, would it?
One that we are fixing to lose, and luckily, the person who recently bought Ashley Sanders' parents' place where they grew all of those oak trees, they have said that they would come forward and donate all the oak trees we want to go within our parks. Yeah, so anything that we need to move or take down, we now have replacements for. Because we do have a tree, and, I mean, it's just our luck, right? It's the one that looks the best, but it is literally growing to where if the wind hits it, it's gonna come down on our brand-new fence around the court. So overall planning, it needs to come down anyway, and we'll need to kind of move that tree back some. So we have all the trees donated as well. So that was just nothing for Paddock to do, just letting y'all know that Lions Club.
So across the street,
So,
where the concrete tables were, I don't even know if they're still there, where the merry-go-round that I used to get slung off of, and
yeah, like in the middle area,
That's- that's city park, but it's just called,
That is actually still under the name of the Lions Club.
but do they own it?
They technically own it, yes, but the
Okay.
city maintains it as a park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because when I drove through there the other day, it's just, it doesn't look, it looks neglected, I guess.
Yeah, they're in the Grove where we lost all the trees, where the barbecue cook-off used to be.
is there a need for some slabs and new tables throughout there from us?
Possibly, but we could look at that. I need to pull back out the Bengill Park master plan. Y'all have put a lot out there. We probably just need to update
Okay.
just that one section, and so I'll bring that to you. Okay, so we're definitely good for Phase 1 irrigation on the soccer fields for fiscal year '26.
Do I remember you saying that the school district or somebody was gonna add to the parking behind the football stadium? Did I make that up?
I haven't heard that.
Okay, is there anything going in where the wood park used to be?
That's where council is discussing a dog park.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said our dollars had gone down, but you had the toddler part back in there, it'll pop it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a
we
little
need to talk about Arlie White, is that what you're
Yeah.
highlighting passive aggressively so that we'll talk
I
about it?
just make sure, since we're going backwards, I'm making sure I'm not
Okay.
missing anything. So just looking at these numbers here.
All right, are we looking at a restroom in Arlie White in '26?
I think the restroom's more important than the top court.
Okay. where are y'all getting all this money? I mean, our budget's like, what, 2 million a year? We're gonna spend 865,000?
Something's gotta go.
Uh-huh.
We don't have to have modular child courts on every basketball court in Terrell. We don't.
Yeah.
I think the solar lighting, from what I can see out there, probably, when I went through there about a month ago, probably the restroom, the solar lighting, and then a little bit more seating places and stuff.
Are the priorities?
I think so.
The modular tile court, is that what's on the basketball courts? Yeah, I mean, I just think it makes it look uniform throughout the city if we do it.
It's a nice thing to have, but I think if we're looking at, we're already talking about half of what we have in a budget in a year,
Because they, I mean, it's being, their court is being used right now. I don't think, this might be something that we, after we put these, kind of what I consider essentials in, then coming back the following year and doing. Because I'm assuming we also get better pricing if we court and court at the same time.
Theoretically, yeah. Well, and even if you do it, the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. So is our priority for next year a restroom? Okay,
lighting and then the tables. I think that makes a big difference.
yeah,
It does.
okay.
Yeah, for Arlie White, I'd just be concerned where the people are going to the restroom without one, without a designated one. So it's,
There's a real nice bridge that goes into the woods, and that would be my guess.
right.
That's your hope.
Yeah, that'd be my hope.
I think that also, and I'm making a note of this here, I think that Arlie White, because of all of the residential and the schools and the school expanding, and the school land that's over there, this may be something that, yeah, if we do the restroom and the solar lighting, but we probably need more of a master plan for Arlie White, because we do need a walking trails system, because we've got to connect all of the neighborhoods. And so I think that this was probably gonna end up being a TWDB once we get, when we're talking about courts and things like that, now we're spending enough money that we can look at it as a grant opportunity.
I think that's great. I don't know what the timeline on that is. I think lighting and tables and benches at both Arlie White and Stallings are a priority whether we get a grant or not.
Yeah, no, I've got those here. So we've got solar lighting, tables, yeah. And I've just taken off the big pieces and and then we also have the restroom at Arlie White.
And I'm really praying that bathroom, those bathrooms don't come in where they cost that much. That just seems, you could build a very small house for that.
That's definitely our intention. I hope to return money to y'all from the restroom expense. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we went from 1.8 to 650. Just to kind of go back to your summary. Well, let me do engineering because we're gonna ask the city to do that. The only last two items is the US 80 lighting, sign design, all the tech dot coordination that will have to take place with what's going on this next year with your planning. Catherine Street Parklet, that was something that I put in there. Wasn't sure if y'all felt the same way about city and design cost versus construction.
Raylan, I would like to see what it would, and maybe the design cost is the same regardless, but I would like to see a pared down version of that instead of it being all the way from, I guess that would be Nash, all the way down to South Alley. Maybe we do just south of 80, in between 80 and South Alley. We do one side of it first and see how that goes. And then maybe expand it. And I don't know, again, planning wise, it may be the same, but just to keep our costs down and once we do it, we can't undo it.
Right,
So I'd like to see how it goes first.
Okay. So your Catherine Street, your design services are gonna be about the same, because you're gonna need the same topo, the same surveying, whether you're going, north or south of Highway 80. So a lot of that, but we can reduce down your concepts and your architectural renderings and things, so we can get that lowered.
I mean, I'd like to see it all done at once. I don't know about the scale.
I will tell you that Mary Gill Ramsey will be under construction on the First National Bank building this year. So, and of course, that's on the north side, Parklet. So she will be under construction, but with that, she's gonna need to go ahead and take out her, head-end parking over there. She's having to work out a ramp, and we'll do some dedicated right-of-ways and stuff for that property owner. So there'll be some stuff going on the north side anyway this year. To provide space for an ADA ramp to get into that side of the building. So she had proposed some trees and doing a larger walkway to accommodate for that. And so she'll be kind of partnering in on that north side development. So, just FYI. Okay,
That kind of reverse.
yeah.
I was kind of thinking the same line as her. But if she's putting some expenditure there anyway.
We met her contractor on site last week. She's got a contractor and everything. So she will have that random wall removed, so you can actually see the front of the building, new roof and all window replacement in '26. And then she'll start on the interior renovation in '27. Okay, let's see the damage done. So if you look at your 2025 adopted budget, we luckily are going to spend less than what we brought in, so your cash balance is going to look good at the end of the year. Pricing as it stands right now, it looks like we'll go into cash balance that 677,000. And there's always, listen, I only did a 2% increase on your revenue. I'm very, very conservative when I do the sales tax. You've had a lot of new businesses come online, and as Mills in the finance department get those budgets better, we will make some better adjustments for you throughout the year. So please know that your revenue is a very conservative number, and they're looking to get your cash balance in order. But even everything with the parks, everything as it stands, we would need to dip in a little bit, the 677. But even then, going into '27, you're still holding almost $2 million in your cash balance.
Well, and the 677 takes into account the $500,000 development partnership that may or may not materialize. So, I mean, literally, that one thing could put us fine.
Just as a brainstorming activity, I want to hear from each board member. Just harebrained idea, how would you want to see this board spend $500,000 next year? What are your priorities? What do you think would be a big impact project for our community? Parks or downtown?
I don't know if we're going in order, but I would rather see it go towards the downtown signage, lighting. Kind of like I said earlier, I mean, our parks have seen a huge increase from from our efforts and our projects, but our downtown hasn't seen any major impact other than landscaping. So I would like to see, like we said before, even if it's painting street lights, putting different street signs in, something to kind of redefine the character of people that are driving through, would be my preference for spending $500,000. So,
It can be like it can be this, it can be something that you feel like we need to do next year, or something that we haven't talked about.
yeah, and I mean, I'm saying focus on the public traffic perception driving through. Yeah, I mean, I think that is would be my priority. I mean, the people that don't live here, that drive through every day, that are forced to stop at a stop light, there's 5 of them right there. So if we have them there, let's make that visually appealing.
I guess I'm kind of in between, because downtown is important, but also I look at the parks, because that's our community. These are the people that live in our community, and they deserve a great deal of attention too. And so these parks and restrooms and stuff like that, and drainage, that's important to me as far as the city and the community. So I guess I'm 50-50. I understand the importance of downtown, but I also understand the importance of these parks too.
Narrow the focus for a parks project, like, what do you think would be headline news for Terrell that would have the community excited? What project?
What project? I'm leaning towards the irrigation system for the parks. Yeah, so if we can get that, and the lighting and the irrigations, to me is important.
I think the same thing. I love downtown, and we've spent money at parks and downtown, but this is kind of where our community members live, play. I think about our parks and how important it is to just make sure that we keep them updated, make sure that we're doing whatever we can to enhance that experience, because I never ride by a park and there's nobody there. I mean, there's always families, kids, people walking and just moving around. So I don't have anything just specifically, because I think within our discussion today, we're gonna definitely make some good positive additions, with the restrooms and things like that. But just, I think parks would be at the top of my list.
Which of the park projects has you the most excited? It could be restroom.
I think it's I really think it's probably Arlie White and Breezy Hill. I've heard so much about the splash pad, and that's why one time I heard Ms. Smith say, like, that's on hold for now. And I was like, okay, tell me more about that. What's going on? Because people in the community have heard about that.
Okay.
And they're excited about it.
Perfect.
I think for me, I'm the same as Matt. It's downtown visuals, and I don't know if that looks like us. I don't know if that looks like the buildings being repainted. I don't know how that 500 needs to be divvied out, but a facelift for downtown is definitely a priority for me.
Excuse me, Madam President and Board, my husband has an appointment at 11 o'clock at a medical city in Dallas. I don't know if you guys know, but he had a stem cell transplant about a month and a half ago. So we got to tend to that. So I'm gonna have to skip out, and that's why I kind of been missing in the last couple of meetings.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for understanding.
Prayers for healing. Mary, what's on your heart and mind?
Actually, right now, I'm living and breathing Stallings.
Okay.
Just because I've been able to meet the people there and heard them. But I totally agree that we've got to do something with the look of downtown. So to me, those are my two passions right now. When I saw what the landscaping, whether the business owners wanted it or not, what the landscaping did for the look and feel, I'm really excited about lighting and lamp, or poles and stuff like that, because, and the canopies and the paint. So I'm kind of split between,
Okay.
because again, Stallings is a much-used park, and I think it will be even more used if we give it some tender loving care.
All right, that's helpful. I just, there's a healthy amount of reserve for this board to have for some strategic projects we have coming up, quiet zones, maybe complete streets. But, there's a part of me that's like, wanting to spend this for high impact, big, meaningful projects. And so these ideas are what we need to work towards. I'm gonna be disappointed if we don't spend into that over this next year, but I certainly don't wanna waste it. I think each of us might admit, that we've made some mistakes as a board. We've taken some risk, and with risk is gonna come some mistakes, and with risk is gonna come some reward. I'm very proud of 90% of the decisions that we've made, and stand behind them, but we've got to continue to be strategic and think about capital improvements that will last for over 10 years. So that's helpful.
I think I agree with that, but I think some of the big impact we could do, the decisions we've already made. I'm so excited to hear that y'all are gonna, the website and all that kind of stuff, because the Breezy Hill Parks, the changes that have been made there, the pickleball courts, the court that is never empty. I mean, there is always somebody playing on there. We need to talk about that. We need
We're
to,
not good at
Yeah.
tooting our horn.
and I'm not, and to toot the city's horn,
Yeah.
because that, I mean, that is totally awesome, and all the good stuff we've got going on, we all know it, we're all proud of it. But how many of all of our citizens, I've started noticing the pickleball courts are now starting to fill up. So word is starting to get out.
Raylan, where do we need to go from here?
I would, just basically how your screen is now, I would like to have y'all entertain a motion, just to move forward with the proposed 2026 budget. That way I can go ahead and get that turned in. We just wanted to have an open conversation of, as things come up, kind of where you're at. You've got a healthy fund balance, and we've got a good plan moving forward.
Do I recall that this 2026 budget still doesn't include a price for the lighting?
No.
And so,
Yeah, and so it's just the understanding that would be a budget amendment,
okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve this budget as presented. I'll make a motion. Thank you, Mary. Is there a second? I'll second it. Thank you, Hillary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Do you need anything else from us, Raylan?
That is it. We are good.